Hi guys, welcome back to another hopefully interesting VCV Rack video. I'm the KlirrFactory, smoking cigarettes and drinking beer, and today I want to talk about BitSEQ, a new sequencer by KlirrFactory, so by me. And yes, let's dive in. When I made BitOSC, I was always watching these fancy lights here and thinking that this was could be a good sequencer. You can do a lot of stuff, and the idea was to create a sequencer like in the size of SEQ3, like SEQ3, like this guy, and with a lot of more functionality, bunch of outputs, and yeah, and I really run out of space, and I added features and features and features, and I had to stop myself to add more features. So this is what we got for the moment. BitSequencer is based on BitOscillator. So if you want to know exactly what this section does and this section, so check out the BitOscillator video. I don't want to explain this in detail at the moment. Okay, only for those who don't know BitOscillator, you have a 24 by 8-bit matrix. You can set bits here. So this starts here, this is the first bit, this is for the second bit, this is for the third bit, and so on. And you will see how this works in a second. Then on this section you can shift those bits with triggers so they move around. And here you can manipulate the vertical bits with mathematical functions, and that's mostly the basic concept behind this. Now, a sequencer is something different than an oscillator mostly. So most sequencers have one clock input. BitSequencer has a few more because these shift bit inputs that you see here work somehow as inputs as well. The clock input is normalized by default to the first of these inputs, and here you can normalize the first input to all the others. Okay, so now let's patch a few things together. And the first different thing to any other sequencer is this. Now we get this running. Okay, I stopped normalizing here and maybe bring this to 0. Okay, this is the first section. This is this clock input, and this clock input mostly affects these outputs. And let's listen to these outputs. Here we got trigger outputs. So let's make some drums. Okay, these are really great for drums, I think. Okay, see? Now this is nothing special. You see, you have the first output is the first bit, the second output is the second bit, and you have this choke button between these two outputs always. So you, when you set it off, these guys can play together, and if not, they won't play together. That's nice for kicking drum or for closed and open hi-hat and so on, or if you make bongo stuff or whatever. Okay, you see? Now these trigger outputs have a probability knob. Yeah, you see? So yeah, you can slow these guys down and make another probability, or 100% would be every hit. Okay, that's easy stuff. Let's connect here a hi-hat and a hi-hat output. I will do it like quick and dirty. Okay, see? Okay. Nothing special so far. Now, when we use these guys, all these bits will shift around, and yeah, let's listen to that. So when this is only the bass drum now, and now you get, yeah, different patterns. On this side you can set a step length. This is set by default to 16 steps because I think most of you work on this 4, 8, 16, 32 stuff, so that will be good to be when you need this, only right click and reset it up to 24 steps. Okay, so now you can even say, okay, I want my kick drum always, yeah, straight. Then yeah, click here, normalize, the shift value to 0. So this kick will always stay here. And when you set it to 100%, it will always play what you have here. And of course you can change it, yeah, the patterns. Okay. Now, for the moment, this is kind of boring. But Bit Sequencer can do a lot more, but let me first explain these inputs, yeah, to make it quick. You have a reset input that is by default set to the first step, okay, and you can switch it to last step. So when you have this on 16, in the moment when you have a trigger here, this guy goes to 16, and on the next click it will be at 1. And if this is off, it goes to 1. Yeah, you know, you have to play around this reset or synchronizing sequences is always an issue, and with this you should be good. And you can press reset manually, so if this guy is playing, yeah, reset this, or when you reset to the last, you will see it jumps there and goes on. Okay, then you have a play button, and you see, this is the funny thing about this. This guy keeps playing. Why? This is because this input is normalized to these shift inputs, and you can stop this only like this. Oh, don't ask me why this guy is playing. Okay, something like this. Okay. Funny stuff is happening. Yeah. Okay, I need a cigarette, and then we are going on. Now all this would be really boring. Now the idea behind this part is to use these vertical bits. We have vertical bytes. These are 8-bit bytes, so we have 256 values, and I spread these 256 values over 10 octaves or 10 volts. That's what we use in VCV Rack. And these, now we have 24 bytes, yeah, 24 steps or 24 bytes, call that as you want. And now we have here 12 quantized outputs, and the quantized outputs represent always the state of the first bit. This is the first output, and then of the third bit, this is the second output, and of the fifth bit, this is the third output, and so on. And the even bytes are represented by these control voltage outputs. So these other 12 outputs are not quantized. Why did I do that? Because I didn't have space for 24 quantized outputs. So I thought, okay, let's use 12 is a bunch. Yeah, if you have 12 oscillators, it's really a lot. And here in my system, I could never run this. And so we have 12 quantized outputs and 12 unquantized outputs. And the unquantized outputs you can set to uni or B. Okay, that's global. And this is very helpful because you have a few, it's kind of random voltages as well, okay? Now, why should this be interesting? Because these quantized outputs use the rotating quantizer. Give me a second. And you can set for every of these 12 outputs first this red knob here. If it's on, that means that this output is part of the quantizer rotation. If you set this off, this output will always stay on the selected quantizer. Now we have 6 quantizers, and here you can set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now when you set this to 6, this quantized output will always play this scale that you set on this output. Now this is a little bit tricky here. My button and lights and knob and whatever. These quantizers, you have 6 of them, they represent 1 octave, okay? So this is C, D, E, F, G, and so on. And here you have C sharp or D flat, E flat, and so on, okay? And here you see a status light. Now, these 12 outputs can be in several different can play in several different in different quantizers. The light you see here, like an indicator, is only represents the first output. This is something you have to keep in mind, because if you want to see what your guys are playing, but they are all a few of them, say playing single scales here, and most of them are part of the sequencer rotation, then it's the best to keep the first quantizer line, the first byte here, in the rotation. You will see that later. Now, here on these quantizers you have these selection buttons. And when you select only one quantizer, when you rotate it, nothing will happen. Now let's listen to an example. Okay. Now here should something be playing. Why don't I hear anything? Okay, I don't know. We'll see. At least the drums should do something, but they don't. I'm stuck, I need beer. What did I change? Didn't change anything. I didn't play. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now let's listen to the first, let's use this one, okay? Now I use Morpheus 2 because I have 8 oscillators or 8 VCOs here. That's much easier to handle than 8 single. Okay, see? Now this guy is playing always here. Now you can set the delay. It's delay or probability. So when I increase this, out of channel, You see, this slows down. And this is something like a clock divider. On every event that this guy has to play, the clock gets divided. So we can do really slow things. And let's connect another one. You see, these guys play nicely together. And this one is much slower, you see? But it's kind of clock divider, okay? And changing the octave, you would have something like a bass line here and a melody here. You see? Now when we change it to percent, it's a probability. Now when you change, you will hear quickly that these guys playing much quicker, because it's like 80%, like 99%. So you have to, you need to increase this value much more to get effects. But I prefer this, I prefer the probability. It depends on the sound, on what you are doing, okay? Okay, see? Okay. Shut up, you drummer, funky drummer. Okay. Drumming stopped. Now the next setting here is the range. This is simple. Because this goes up to 10 octaves, okay? Defaults are 2 octaves. I think this is a good starting point always. Now, on every event, I call this event because you see, now it's changing all the time, mostly, and now when we have this clock dividing or this probability stuff, it doesn't change so often. Then you will have a gate or trigger out here. So that makes sense to say, ooh, what did I do? Okay, here we go. Okay, this is nice to set an envelope or whatever. Okay, got it. Nothing special so far. So, okay, let's get rid of this. Nobody needs this for the moment. Okay, this is what you can do here. Now we have a few special outputs here. As you see here, we have split outputs. And what do the split outputs do? The split outputs, split the scale. So let's listen to one of those guys. Okay. Okay, I don't hear anything. Why is that? Yeah, because I'm stupid. There's nothing new, yes, you know. That's quite too loud. Okay, see, now this guy is always playing the same scale. Now when I set this to split, you see, this one is only playing the first note. Only depending on the range, he's playing this on different octaves, okay? And it works here, like the probability keeps in the same behave. So now, let's connect all these guys together. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see? Now, these guys are always playing these 4 notes. Now let's add a bit of rotation. So this input is for the rotation. Sorry. And let's activate a second quantizer. See? Now these guys always play from one to the next. See? And 3 and 4. Okay, got it. Now, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, you can say set this like this, and let's add a few develops. So 1, oh my god, doesn't like me today. 1, 2, 3, 4. And where are these guys? 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Got it? Now, this is not bad, but we can do better, and now we have this chord button here. And what's happening now is that they only play when we have a trigger here. Okay, see? And now you can add your melody. And of course, you can control this with whatever. Okay, got it? Now this is maybe not a good example, but okay, as you can see, with manipulating this guy, you can do a lot of changes. Yeah, you can say, okay, there's a part we have chords, and there's a part where it's more playing like a piano, like single fingers, stuff like this. Okay. Now, yeah, what more can I tell you? Yeah, of course you can play around with all this stuff, saying I'm not happy with the sound, but it's nothing important for the moment. Now another thing, this rotating quantizer has gate outputs, and they only output 5 volts when this quantizer is active. And active in this case means when the first output is set to the quantizer. And you see here, this is now on 5, okay, 5 here. And this is something you can use, to manipulate bits, for instance. Okay, you see? Okay. And sometimes let's do crazy stuff. Okay, this is not good. Okay, this is bit sequencer. I'm sure you will get much more interesting stuff out of this. Okie dokie. That's it for the moment. Let me see if I forgot something to explain. Okay, this manipulate stuff, how I said, you can check this at the other tutorial, the bit oscillator tutorial. There is explained exactly what all the stuff here is doing. I think I explained most of it. I'm not sure. This is I was adding features, and I'm still like, I want to do more. It would be nice to have these quantizers expanded somehow to make chords with 9 or 11 or stuff like this, but I'm not. I don't have space for this. Okay. That's it for the moment. Bit sequencer will be available for Rack 0.6, I think, and it will look a bit different. Not a lot, but we will get rid of this blurry stuff. It will be a little bit more clear in the design, and get you a copy of that and check out the demo video. That is something I hopefully will do and prepare, and I think it will be great. For me, or in my mind, this is a real different sequencer. There's no hardware sequencer like this, I think, and it's a lot of fun. What shall I tell you? I'm the KlirrFactory. I will have a couple more of these beers. This won't get warm because I was talking all the time. So have fun. See you later. Cheers and bye bye. Nachti nachti. See you.